I don't have a dad joke this week.
Just that a little bit. There we go. That's all good. It's fun because I actually have like a little bit of a book report that I did this week. So we can just dive right into that.
Okay.
All right, great. So why don't you introduce this?
Okay, all right.
Whiskey.
So
yeah. Why don't you introduce that? My book report is on this whiskey. So
nice. Okay, so you may actually end up covering some of the stuff on the. All right, so 2 weeks ago was my birthday. Shout out to my man Super. He came by my house and he was like, look, I want you to try something and we're going to crack some of it and then I want you to take the rest of it on the show. So we cracked some of the I.W. Harper Kentucky Straight Bourbon whiskey, and this, I don't have this memorized, but apparently was no longer sold in the States.
yeah, so this
Right?
particular
Yeah.
one, right? This is from Japan.
Right.
Yes. This bottle here.
And I had the idea that, well, since it is newly back in the States, why don't we get the one that's made in the U.S.
Yeah.
and we kind of have like a taste off,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
That's what I said?
Yep.
I got COVID fog, so I just wanted to make sure I had that right. So that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna taste the one from Japan, right, Josh? It was from Japan
Yes.
Yes,
because you
that's
did
correct.
the
It
translate,
was
right?
Japanese.
Japanese, and then we'll taste the one. I don't know where this is brewed.
Oh, I'm going to tell you all about it.
Okay, it's in your book report.
Oh, it's in the book report. Okay, so why
All right,
don't
do your
you
thing.
start pouring some of this out?
Which one do you want to try first?
Let's start.
Does everybody have? We need water
We
too to
all
clear
have
our palate.
glasses.
Because I really want to see if I taste it
I'll
different.
get some water. Or yeah, we'll grab some water. Let's do
Japanese.
I don't know. Let's do the Japanese.
Let's just kill the Japanese
yeah,
because
okay, fine.
let's just get rid of it.
Okay, great. All right. So while you're pouring a touch of that, I'm just going to run into this real quick. It's going to be a quick book report. It'll
And
be
then I
fun.
went on that whole thing last week about pour your own poison.
I know. I'm
sorry.
You're gonna do this for me. It's great. Okay, so I.W. Harper. All right, Isaac Wolf Bernheim.
Esquire.
Yeah, boy. All right, born November 4th, 1848. This is the guy responsible for this particular beverage. Okay, so he was born in Germany and he migrated into the U.S. in 1867. And this fun fact is that he came with $4 in his pocket, or so the rumor says.
Was it $4 American dollars or
Don't know. It just says $4 USD. I'm gonna go with that.
Reichsmarks.
I was gonna say rubles.
What's the currency in Germany?
What is it?
At the time, it was marks.
Okay,
Marks.
so
Marks. Okay. I'm
I don't know.
wrong
4
as
marks.
shit.
Anyway, per the Wikipedia page, it said $4. So we're just going to go with that.
Okay.
And his life,
He converted it.
be
his
a
life,
millionaire
pretty
today.
standard and, nothing too crazy. I pulled the best piece of his life out of my readings. So he was a traveling salesman to begin.
Damn. You all right? That's your shit? Damn.
We'll find out.
It looks good.
All right. So everyone's getting worked up. How's the computer? Are we good? Okay, great. Do we need to take a break?
Do we gotta get you another one?
I mean, it's a 2015. It's as fine as it's going to
Yeah.
get.
We'll,
All right.
We'll get you
So
another one. Don't worry.
he was a traveling salesman, also known as a peddler. This is a long time ago, guys. Remember, we're in like 1848. We're
Was
way
he on
back
the roof?
when. Okay, so anyway,
There
he
we go.
was
There
he
we
was
go.
a salesman in Pennsylvania, right?
Okay.
And this is the best part. Very successful, it says. However, he had to stop his peddling, this is a quote, and give it all up when his horse died. That was the end of his career as a salesman. The horse died, and he's out of the game. So he moves on from being a salesman. Him and his brother decide to get into the liquor game. And we're really moving through time here pretty quick. So
Because the horse was probably his main source
it's the
of
only way he's
transportation.
getting around. But you think you just get another horse rather than
Right.
change
I'm going to build a
careers.
distillery.
Yeah.
You just get another horse. Like
They start off at the bottom in the liquor industry. They're
In the
not
liquor
just
game.
they didn't just like start a distillery. Okay.
They're bootleggers.
Yeah, not like that. I don't think so. No. This is like they're like working like this is entry level stuff. But they do eventually, after several years, create a distillery, the Bernheim Distillery, which there is a Bernheim whiskey, which we will talk about at a certain point. That distillery then eventually creates I.W. Harper. Harper is just a flourish, just for branding.
It's nobody's name?
Nobody's name. There's no significance to it. It should normally be I.W. Bernheim because it would be Isaac Wolf Bernheim.
His name.
But they bailed on Bernheim. The distillery was already named that. So they just went with Harper. They thought it sounded cool. Yeah. So
These guys are weird.
they're making I.W. Harper. It actually they wind up Bernheim Distillery as one of the 10 distilleries that remained operational during Prohibition because they were licensed by the government to do so. Bernheim is sold off in 1937, okay?
Right.
And it basically goes away for a very long time. It just kind of into the wind. In 1992, is reopened by the United Distillers, which is actually owned by Guinness. So essentially Guinness takes the
course.
name,
Yeah.
they reopen the distillery. None of the original people are involved, mind you. They just reopen the distillery. And they happen to own the I.W. Harper brand. That's like in their catalog.
Right.
So they decide that they're going to basically bring that back.
Okay.
All right. Which brings us to this Japanese whiskey. So let's take a taste, and then we'll talk a little bit about that. All right. So
Yeah.
when they bring this
That's my
back,
cup of tea.
the U.S. market feels as if it is a cheapened version of the original I.W. Harper, and Guinness agrees. It is intentionally cheapened. That's per the article.
Wow.
Yes. So it falls out of favor in the U.S. People are not buying it as much. Guinness decides to, or United Distillers, they decide that they're going to focus their efforts on basically international markets. All right. So this is where Japan comes in. So specifically Asia and Europe, but they have the most success in Japan. For some reason, those in Japan feel that it is actually a top shelf whiskey. So they really get into it. This is also the same time that they decide to pull it off of the shelves in the United States because nobody's buying it, but it's doing really well in Asia and Europe, again, specifically in
So this is top shelf.
So this right
over
here is the top is at the time, and I don't know again if it's still currently considered that, but at the height of it, it was considered top shelf in Japan. I would guess that has since changed. I mean, there's a lot of really good whiskey out now, especially over there. So
Okay.
Yep.
A lot of Asian, native Asian whiskeys too. I assume they're probably pretty popular over there, like their own shit.
Correct. So, Heaven Hill Distilleries purchases Bernheim in 1999 and converts it into their main distilling plant, if you will. And the Bernheim Distillery is, again, once no more. It basically goes away. So, Heaven Hill Distillery, which is currently operating, was the old new Bernheim Distillery. All right. In 2015, United Distillers, which is actually now called
Diageo.
Diageo.
They
there
own,
we
yeah.
go.
Mhm.
They own every
Diageo.
fucking thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
They decide that they are going to reintroduce I.W. Harper, which is
Bum,
the
bum,
new
bum.
version there, which is sitting before you. So they reintroduced that into the United States. All right. Now, I.W. Harper is a couple of interesting things here. Not,
sorry it's
not
warm. It's in
incredibly
the cup.
relevant, but it's actually not listed as a brand on the Diageo website, interestingly enough.
They bootlegging their own
And
shit.
the I.W. Harper website apparently has not been updated since 2015. Now, I've been to the website. It looks pretty old. Does not look great.
It's got flash.
I don't know. It's not the best looking. It does have a copyright on the bottom of 2019, so maybe it's been updated more recently.
Legally,
but
they gotta like throw
it's
that down.
been a
there.
while. So that's how we get from the Japanese I.W. Harper to the current one, which we have a bottle of, and we're going to get into that. A fun little piece to this, I said we'd circle back. Heaven Hill actually makes a Bernheim original whiskey. It's just the name. It has no affiliation to the founders outside of the name.
They
It's
just
not-
use the. There's a lot of just name using.
Yes, correct. There's a lot of branding that goes into this stuff. It did, as from what I could tell, I was on the Heaven Hill Distillery website. From what I could tell, there really wasn't. They did not make any claims that it had any kind of direct tie or recipe or anything like that to the original Bernheim brothers. Heaven Hill also makes Larceny. If you ever had Larceny bourbon or ever seen that.
Have we had that? I
So-
think you would let me. Did you had that before?
I've had it before. I've had the Burn.
I've
Home
had it
before,
with you.
too.
I've associated with.
Yeah.
You've listen. If y'all are listening, Taylor has, like, I like sneakers. Taylor has probably just as many active bottles of alcohol in his home as I have sneakers.
It's possible. I don't know if to count. Anyway, that's the end of my book report on
Very
I.W.
good.
Harper. I was very intrigued last week, or 2 weeks ago rather, when
I did
this
that.
whole thing popped up, and I just felt like I needed to do a little bit of a deeper dive.
You
so
know
I
what it
could understand
was?
It all.
Is when we did the little
Here we
tasting
are.
in the kitchen
Yeah.
post show.
Yeah,
You was
yeah.
like, I saw the twinkle in your eye. You was like,
Yes.
oh,
So we all enjoy I.W. Harper. I think the Japanese
I'm very much enjoying this.
bottle. Now, this was still made in the U.S., but
It was still made in the U.S.?
Correct,
And then
yes.
shipped over to
Yes.
Japan.
That would make sense because it is bourbon, and by law, bourbon can
Correct.
only be made in the U.S.
Yeah.
So that's by law?
yes.
By,
Anything else made outside the U.S.?
Skeptical on that one.
So, yes,
Uh-oh.
this is
Uh-oh.
a strange piece, but bourbon in and of itself, like bourbon is something that is American and kind of required to be made here to be called bourbon. You can make it other places and call it bourbon if you want to. It's all branding, really, for the most part. It does. There
a
are
lot
some
of lying.
ingredient
There's a lot of lying
requirements,
going on here.
but you could technically get those ingredients shipped somewhere else and
then
produce
make it.
there, and the ingredients would be the same, but
It's just where you make it.
it's
Technically be bourbon.
yeah, it's kind of like champagne, right? It's similar
Because-
in that sense.
Yes, I'm familiar with that.
Yeah.
Technically, champagne has to be made in France.
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah.
If in the European Union. In the US, you can call anything champagne that has bubbles. It would be wrong technically.
Yeah, I can call my
but
piss
legally in the
champagne.
US, you can call, I mean, if it's got bubbles, baby.
Also, apparently, I.W. Harper's vintage bottles are pretty popular. I'm on thebourbonconcierge.com.
Yeah.
And there's a quart bottle of their bottle and bond going for $3,000.
Wow.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
1962.
Damn.
Oh yes.
What a history lesson.
Yes.
We're heavy on the bourbon this week, less on the bad guys.
Hey man, just trying to be a rounded podcast. That's all.
Yeah.
So that's what I've got for my book report on I.W. Harper.
Yo, let's give Taylor a round of applause for
thank
the
you.
fucking
Thank you.
I.W. Harper
All right,
research.
there it is. So we're into the Japanese one right now. We'll move on to the other one shortly.
Now
but
I'm conflicted. Like,
It's nice.
Is
I
it
enjoyed it.
Japanese? Okay.
Yeah, it's not technically Japanese in the sense that it was made there, but the bottle is
Watch me taste it. It
the
tastes
bottle,
like shit.
bottle
Watch.
is from Japan. I mean, it's got obviously.
Yeah, it's got Japanese writing.
That's special. All right, let's dive right in to Obi-Wan Kenobi. Because I'm officially caught up on that. Aside from the episode that came out today, I have not watched that. Have
My
you
Darth
watched that?
Vader. What?
The Kenobi episode from today.
I did watch it today.
You did watch it.
I watched it today.
Look at you. I did not. So I'm not that far. 3 episodes in? Is this the 4th episode? No, 5th episode.
Nice reveal. We don't got to talk about it though. We
Okay.
can talk about
Is this
where
the 5th episode?
This is the
Yes.
5th episode.
All right, very good. Thoughts so far on the show? I think you had seen some of it last time we talked.
I saw a lot and you had saw little.
I
so
haven't seen any of it.
let's talk about what you saw and your impressions.
So I've seen 4 episodes now.
Oh,
and-
okay. So you're up to date.
No, I did not see today.
Which, well,
Is today the 5th episode?
today is
Today's
the
the
5th
fifth.
episode.
The fifth
So
episode,
you're
correct.
up to date to
Up to
today.
date as of today, not having seen today's episode.
That's fine.
That's
Yeah.
a really long way of saying that. So, at the risk of offending, I
Do
would
it.
say that the Obi-Wan series disappoints. I think it's not very good,
Wow.
which is a
Let me
bummer to
let me
say.
let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
To that question.
Let's go.
And I don't think I've ever asked you this.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a Star Wars fan?
It's a good question. Context is important in this
Yeah,
conversation.
yeah.
So I am.
Because that would change like your
I am a average, like middle of the road Star Wars fan. I
Got it.
enjoyed the films.
Okay.
I saw the prequel series in theaters because that was like my age group, my like range. And I thought like the J.J. Abrams era, if you will, had moments of entertainment but I wasn't in love with it. I've never been like struck by Star Wars. It always felt a little kind of corny or over the top or kind of like
Got it.
like it just felt like overly like dramatized or something. So it was not like my core like film base when I was a kid. I know some people that like grew up on it and it's like their religion. I was more Jurassic Park, Jaws, Indiana Jones. That was kind of my thread as a kid.
I appreciate those
Yeah.
and I love them. I'm total opposite.
Yeah. So you're a big Star Wars guy.
Empire Strikes Back was the first movie I owned.
Okay. All right. Well, this is a good conversation then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Which is, I just wanted context to you,
Sure.
to your,
Yeah, like I don't own Star Wars things outside of like Baby Yoda stuff.
okay.
Yeah. Does that help?
That helps.
Okay, cool.
That helps the listeners too.
So
yeah.
what I'll say about the Obi-Wan series, I've got a couple of hot takes as it relates to Obi-Wan.
Shoot.
One, I feel like the story is not that great. It's a little slow. It's a little boring.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just haven't been captivated by it yet.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's more of a script writing issue.
Mm-hmm.
Two, I feel like the acting is subpar. I feel like there are several characters that just do a mediocre job.
Mm-hmm.
I could maybe attribute that to the fact that Star Wars, and again, this might be heresy, but I think Star Wars by and large has had mediocre acting.
Yes.
Yes. It's kind of a part of the
That,
sauce,
yeah,
right? Is
yeah.
kind of like
We're not here to
it
win
feels
Emmys.
kind of
yeah,
fun
yeah,
at
yeah.
times. Yes. So I feel like the Obi-Wan series is
sorry.
much more in
I said
keeping.
Emmys, Golden Globes.
Yes, there you go. I feel like it's much more in keeping with the Star Wars films as opposed to the TV series thus far. So yes, acting, story, those don't hit for me. And then the biggest piece, my biggest issue with it, is how lame Obi-Wan Kenobi is. Because I fully expected.
That's a tough one.
I fully expected, like, we're coming into this thing. Obi-Wan is a legend. He defeated Darth Vader prior to him being Darth Vader,
Yeah.
whatever he was at the time. Like, destroyed him, right? Ruined him, almost left him for dead, if you will. I mean, he was the man.
He went out. He went out on top.
Yeah.
Jordan versus the Jazz, and then I feel like the show is Michael Jordan on the Wizards. Like, this is really rough.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I always thought of Jedis as like when they were Jedis and they were cooking and they had the Force, it was just like, you know, it was like they were good to go.
That was a good
And
pop.
all of a sudden it's like he doesn't know how to do anything anymore. He can't fight. He can't. He's weak.
He's old.
He's old. He doesn't even know what the Force is anymore. He can't move anything.
He's been cut off from the Force for 10 years.
But okay, sure. Then why is he still there guarding Luke? He's useless.
That's just his fulfillment and purpose.
I understand that, but he realizes that he's doing Luke a disservice by being as crippled as he is.
Because if the shit
Because
goes
if
down and they
something
find
happens-
him, he can't.
Yeah, if I wanted to take Luke, I could.
You could definitely.
Obi-Wan, his lightsabers are buried in the sand in the desert, and he can't use the Force anymore. So just based on the fact that he's old and weak, and I'm like, I have some youth and vitality to me, I can probably outrun him, and he's not gonna be able to stop me. He can't fight.
First of all, he works at a fucking slaughterhouse. He's not even watching Luke.
no, exactly. So he's
not even
dedicated
watching.
his life to just sitting idly on the side. And he's like, I cannot leave. I cannot go. I have to protect Luke. It's my destiny. And I'm like, dude, you're not protecting anything. It's you and this camel in the desert. And that's all you've got, bro.
Well, I think your take is important because, and I don't want to be the guy.
It's totally wrong, but it's very important.
I don't want to. It probably is, and I don't want to be like the Star Wars, the Star Wars devil advocate because
No, it's good.
Your opinion is totally correct, and as someone who's just watching it, I'm like, yeah, like what the fuck are you doing? Like you're not even. You're like you get home from work and you like watch Luke for like 15 minutes and then you like sleep on a rock.
Yeah.
Like you're not like actively like you should like pretend to be some old man and like train this kid like once in a while. Like you're not doing anything.
I'm fine with all of the old man stuff. It's just that when shit hits the fan,
He's fucked
you've
up.
got to pull the saber out, man,
Nah.
and be ready to rock. Like you can't just, oh man, I gotta go find my stuff. Like he's already kidnapped. He's kidnapped by now.
Well,
Your job is done.
One of the
It's
takes
over.
is Jedi have always been shit. Like anyone who like follows Star Wars, they created their fall. Like they got here and the reason they fell is their own fault, and they're always fumbling over their feet. It's always best way I can compare them to is like fucking what's the guy from Waco who like had like the
I don't remember his name, but I know.
you know what I mean? Like we got to do this for a higher purpose, and it's like, bro, like it's not that deep. Like just if you killed that guy because he's doing bad things, it's all it's the Batman analogy. If you just killed him because he's doing bad things, he wouldn't come back to do this again. You know what I'm saying? And then that's there. And he says a quote in the show, as a Jedi, our job is to defend, not take life. And okay, yeah, but like how you can only defend but so much. You know what I'm saying? Like after a certain point, it's like they're gonna wear you down and fucking kill you, bro. Like if you don't end this, how many times do you think that you can just redo this process of defense? You're now like you're old. You're 10 years removed. You've cut yourself off from the Force. You got this PTSD. You done buried your weapons, but this is your sole purpose. There's conflicting emotions, actions, and purpose. Like there's no. So on one hand, I absolutely agree with you, and then from a Star Wars advocate standpoint, I'm also like, well, Jedi have always been shit. Like
Yeah, but aren't we a little tired of that? Also, shouldn't Kenobi though, like if anybody's gonna have a little bit of like jazz to him,
It should be him.
Shouldn't it be him?
Yeah.
Because this time, like where we're at in the timeline,
He's been getting washed the whole fucking series.
Thank you. But where we're at in the timeline of Star Wars,
It should have been
start
called
to
Vader.
Finish, right?
That's what the show should have been called, Vader. 'cause
Like
he's
there
been
are
showing up.
still Jedi, and there should still be some powerful ones at that. It's
Yeah.
not like we're decades off of when like the last Jedi was known. Like there's Jedi hunters and there's multiple
Yeah,
Jedi
and
on the show.
if you're in
So-
touch with what's canon, there are other Jedis in the galaxy
Sure.
who are like, oh shit, hit the fan, I'm out of here.
yeah,
Right? There's the game, if you've played it, Jedi Fallen Order, which one thing I do love about the Star Wars canon is that everything that comes out under this umbrella is canon to the entire story. So if you play Fallen Order, it kind of goes into like the Grand Inquisitors and the Order 66 and kind of what happened to the Jedis. And there's tons of Jedis out there. They're just like they've taken the Obi-Wan approach, or they're like, look, like, it was fun, but like I'm good. I don't need the smoke. And I know I can't win on my own. So fuck that.
I'm with you 100%. However, Obi-Wan has been tasked
With a job that he's
with
supposed to do as a
protecting-
Jedi. Right. Absolutely.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Absolutely.
He's been tasked with protecting the most important Jedi of all time.
Are you ready?
Right?
Yes.
Am I wrong?
No,
this is
no.
not a
Well-
small task. Luke Skywalker is a relevant character. His job is as a Jedi, like, hey, you've got to be able to defend this kid when the time comes.
Personally always thought Obi-Wan was a joke.
He's
I mean, that's
asleep
just
at
me,
the
but
wheel, though.
Whatever, man. He's just he's all we know about Obi-Wan is that he makes mistakes. You had one high moment. You stopped Anakin you beat Anakin in a duel, which you should have done because
he also battled it out with Darth Maul.
Oh yeah, he did.
And that was
Qui-Gon battled it out with Darth Maul.
True, but
and then he came in after Darth Maul was
He was
tired.
in there though. I'm just saying. He's had his experience. It's not like he doesn't know how to use a lightsaber.
Yeah,
He had the chops, is my point.
yeah. I mean,
And he's acting like he kinda
people
forgot.
like Obi-Wan because he's their first introduction into the old wise Jedi, right? Everyone loves the master. You know, what's his name from what's the wizard from Lord of the Rings? Ian McKellen. Gandalf. We love the old master, the guy, you know what I'm saying? We love Gandalf. We love Obi-Wan. We love the mentor, right? And he's our first introduction into what a Jedi is supposed to be. But for someone who has like read a lot of what's canon and like books and played the games, like Obi-Wan ain't it, man.
All right. So to that point,
let's
I've not
be real.
read
I'm gonna
any
be
of
real.
that. I've not read any of that.
I'm keeping it
I
real
don't
today.
know. So Obi-Wan's a loser, and he's watching Luke, and that's the show we're
man.
watching. So that's why I'm not crazy about it. 'Cause
He's
I'm-
babysitting kids,
Yeah, this is
and he's not doing the job right.
correct. This is watching a defunct Jedi babysit important children.
And
that's the
lose.
show, and lose constantly.
Now, on the other hand,
That's the show.
I will say this.
He's a terrible babysitter.
This show has done an amazing job at redeeming Vader.
Okay, so let's get to the things that I do like
Okay.
before the episode's over.
Okay.
All right, so I think
because we spent this whole
Yeah.
shit on.
I do think the moments with Vader have been successful. I feel like those
Mm-hmm.
are very good. That's the most entertaining part of the show. I would actually say that that is it the Sith, like the Sith component? Is that what
Yeah,
you would call it?
yeah.
Okay, great. So all those characters, that whole thing, they have rad like gear and lightsabers
Grand
and cool
Inquisitors,
stuff.
yeah.
Their locations and like headquarters and all that. That's the funnest part of the show for me.
Yeah.
I'm done. Being,
Every time the Sith come on, I'm like, yes.
yes, it's
Vader,
the best part. It's the best part. That's also where the acting is the best part too.
Oh,
Like,
Moses
of
Ingram
that
is killing
great.
it. We talked about her last week. She's fucking killing it.
Yeah.
Like her arc kind of comes full circle in the latest episode,
I'll have to check that out.
which is great. Like I'd say like 2 or 3 awesome reveals, which we'll talk about next week after you see it. So yeah, man, like yeah, it's called Obi-Wan. This shit should have been called like Sith, man, because they're the ones showing up.
Yeah.
They're the ones acting. They're the ones putting people in dirt. Yeah, I'm all about it.
I'm gonna finish it out, but I stand by my statement. I'm really not in love with it. I feel like Mandalorian and Boba Fett are way better.
Okay. All right.
The Jon Favreau stuff just connects with me in a much
It's
more meaningful
okay.
way. I will say that the Obi-Wan series is more cinematic and feels more in line with like Star Wars.
It's more akin to the
Yeah,
Star
films
Wars
and all
legacy.
that.
Yeah.
Great. All right, so it's enough on Obi-Wan.
Let's-
What do you want to do? What's up?
Kill your glass.
Okay, yes. Very good. Okay,
We're
so we're
gonna-
moving on from the Japanese iteration.
Everybody, we're ready for our second round. I love,
there.
I
Ready to
love
go.
Josh's fist pump.
Josh hasn't even tasted the whiskey yet.
I'm almost finished here, bud.
We're gonna.
It's a
watch-
little warm because
We're gonna watch him drink an entire glass.
It was in the trunk of my car.
in one shot.
I'll go that way. If this shit tastes anything like the stuff we had last week,
I'm gonna cry.
All right.
I was so disappointed. And I mean, listen, people work hard. That whiskey has given people jobs. Listen, I understand. It's just not for me. It's just not for me. Sorry.
We'll see how this.
Some people love it.
How this shakes out.
No, let's take it back because we did use it in a mixed cocktail after the show, and it, like I said, it's probably better in a drink rather than a straight.
But it cut the sweetness in the drink. That's all it did.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with that.
Okay.
All right. We'll take a few minutes with this, and we're not gonna talk about it just yet. We're just gonna sip on it and enjoy it. Let's close out. You finished
Obi-Wan.
Stranger Things? No, we did Obi-Wan.
Yeah,
We
I finished
beat
Stranger
that
Things.
to death. Stranger Things, you finished.
Yes.
I finished.
Loved it.
We finished.
Yeah. Everybody? Yeah. You
All
finished?
right. Oh, interesting. Hot take.
Jesus Christ.
Hot take from this corner of the room. Okay. Thoughts? Good? Yes? No?
And we're done.
We don't want to go too deep
That's
into
why you didn't get a mic yet.
There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things to cover still, so we're not going to spend forever on Stranger Things. We've talked a lot about it, but do you like
Yo,
out of all of the series 1, 2, 3,
I-
4? I know it's not technically finished yet, but where would you place it? Where would you rank it?
I would. Where would I rank this season?
Yes. Yeah. Let's go.
It doesn't. I don't think it has the same gut punch as season 1
Okay.
because there were a lot of things. Season 1 came into it with children, and you don't expect for the type of trauma that happened
Yeah.
to these children in season 1 when you're watching a show with children. Like,
Sure.
you're just like, oh, cool, they're gonna be like detectives and then oh shit, that's the body in the river. You know what I'm saying? You know, so they did carry the theme of like death and supernatural elements well into this 4th season, which is great. Did I love this season? No. So I'll say it was better than season 3.
Okay. Yes, we're getting back to the root of the question.
Yeah. It was better than season 3. Season 2 was
The Demodogs.
all right. Okay, the Demodogs. Season 3 was Billy.
Yes, correct.
Okay. I'll say it was season 1 is number 1 for me.
Yeah.
And then the rest of them, I'd kind of put them all kind of, and then you can kind of take what you want from them, like
Sure.
the good parts. But season 4, I will still say is the lesser.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
because
I disagree.
I feel like we really got wrapped up into the teenage element, which did really create a foundation for the story. But I don't think I needed that we got 6 episodes. I didn't need bullying and teenage crying. I just was kind of like, let's get into let's go to the upside down. Let's get the power. Like, let's go. Like, let's go. And I feel like they really pumped the brakes on that and wanted to really introduce us to where we are. And that was 2 hours of where we are.
yeah. Well,
And I just was
it's
like,
a lot of characters. We
a lot of-
we gotta
yeah.
cover a lot of ground.
yeah, I'm not gonna say I'm not a guy for context or, the context of how we're gonna set up the situation. I do appreciate the introduction of Eddie Munson.
Yep.
I think that was Stranger Things does a really good job of flushing out new characters.
Yes. So this is a really interesting point. I think that it's probably, out of all of the shows that I've watched, probably the best with adding characters in a meaningful way and not like sacrificing the greater story because of it. With exception to the one episode where they have the other kid that has powers, right? That one like weird deviation they did in season 2. Yes.
Yeah.
That one episode that kind of everybody hated, that nobody was really into.
The
It
other
was-
kids that escaped
Yes.
whatever facility they were
Yeah. That was one episode where they
Seven,
brought
right?
some characters in, but they never came back, which thankfully.
That's what I
but
didn't like. I felt like
yes.
that was a filler. Yeah.
Everything else, though, I feel like they've done a really, really great job of introducing new characters and having them be impactful.
Yeah.
Like, I've enjoyed every addition that they have made thus far.
Okay, I have a question for you
Yeah.
because I had to watch. Was it the last episode where we are living in Elle's memory?
Yes. Yeah. Well, so that I think takes place for a few episodes where we're kind of deep diving into her past.
It comes full circle into this last episode. That was, I don't know if it was due to my lack of attention, but it was kind of confusing for me because we're in it, but then I think the anchor was Papa saying we need to, in episode 5, we need to put you in this thing, and then we just kind of leave that. And then in episode 6, we're living in the memory, but we only get glimpses. So I wish there was some more transparency of what was happening versus us as the watcher really just trying to put the pieces together to figure it out.
Sure.
That could be just me being lazy, but
Yeah. I mean, there's still 2 episodes remaining, but I think obviously her character trying to regain her powers probably all stems from her going back through that experience.
through that, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So
Which
it's
I
probably
thought was
relevant.
amazing writing,
Yeah.
awesome full circle moment.
Yep.
My complaint was there was no flushing of Vecna, which was completely flushed out in episode 6. So that's just my impatience. So again, man, they knocked it out the park. Like, I don't think season 4 was as emotionally tolling as season 1. Just, because of maybe the will aspect and the brashness of the deaths.
Yeah.
Like I just was not expecting so many people to die,
Sure.
right? And now we're just like, oh, people die, like whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like that element is kind of like not wore off, but it's like, yeah, if somebody gets cooked, like, all right.
Yeah, but do you not feel as if in season 4 that the deaths are like things have not escalated? It feels much more visceral and much more violent than prior seasons.
No, I do feel like it's very visceral. I do feel like it's way more graphic. I said last episode they really leaned into the horror element. I just don't know if the deaths are meaningful in this season.
Sure. So obviously 2 episodes to go.
Yeah.
So there's still more to be
which is
learned.
going to be like a 2-part movie. thing.
More or less, yeah.
Yeah.
They're very long episodes. So I'm gonna back up and rewind a little bit.
Go
So
for
I
it.
am season 1 is my favorite.
Yeah.
I'm 1, 4, 3, 2.
1.
That's my route.
4.
Yeah. So
Okay.
but I'm also, I've said this before, I'm a little biased because I'm a huge Stranger Things fan. So
I'm with you though.
getting longer episodes with more context, like the more time I can spend in that like
In this world, yeah.
is really enjoyable for me. Like I love all those aspects. Like I love learning about the new characters and like the new settings and like deep diving into all those little areas. Like that's fun for me.
Yeah.
So I don't like, it doesn't feel like wasted time. Like I enjoy it. And I have seen
Okay.
other reviewers like feel as if it could be shortened up considerably
And
because
that's how I feel. Yeah,
we
yeah.
can get to this, get to like the, the
I'm
sauce
ready.
a little
Like I'm
faster.
ready for like shit.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So I'm just on the other side of that where like you could give me 2-hour episodes and I would love it. Like I just enjoy being with these characters and I enjoy this place and this time.
I
and all
also
this stuff.
don't. I don't mean to cut you off, but I
Oh,
don't.
go ahead.
I don't like seeing children go through trauma.
Yes, but one could argue that the premise of the show really
Is-
stems from that.
Like like I just feel like this whole season, and there always has to be like it has to be beat over the head with one character who's just unrelentingly suffering, and I just feel so bad for Elle, and I guess that's what a show is supposed to do.
Yeah, I think it's spread out a little bit though in this season because you also have Hopper who's suffering in his
Yeah,
own
I think
way.
that-
I mean,
yeah.
everybody is kind of struggling in their own right. So I feel like it's been kind of spread out as opposed to being like centralized around one person or one relationship.
Right.
Which is nice.
No.
But again, the longer episodes I think allow for that dynamic.
Is the Will storyline necessary?
Yes. So, I don't know if you read any of like the theories or get into any of like the
No,
deeper like
not for
nuances.
Stranger Things, no.
But yeah, so I think Will's character is going to become super relevant. So there's one theory that I really like. I'll detail it here. So one theory is that in season 1, okay, the creature that comes, that we are introduced to the Demogorgon, right? And to our knowledge, that's what we're up against. All right. So
Which is just a
there is a theory that what Will encounters is not the Demogorgon and it is Vecna. Because everybody else that encounters the Demogorgon in season 1 dies or is fighting for their lives, whereas Will is simply taken, which is a big differentiator.
he is taken.
Will is
Okay.
taken to the Upside Down and is not eaten. Like the Demogorgon as we know him now, even seeing him in season 4 and throughout the series, is not taking people.
It's killing them straight up.
It's killing them straight up if it gets the opportunity. So Will is found in a very, very meaningful location. Will gets taken in a very meaningful location, right? He gets taken in front of the pipe that Elle is escaping through in season 4. Which we now know that Vecna is one, and he is the one who knows that the pipe is how you get out of the laboratory. So if Vecna was coming back looking for Elle or waiting for Elle or trying to find Elle, that would be where he
thought
would
it
go.
was maybe that was
So the
Elle.
theory is that he thought that Will was Elle and took him instead into the Upside Down, which isn't. And again, there are people that have taken screenshots of. So anyway, so this is where Will encounters him. Right, is at the drain pipe, and then there's a moment where he's in the house with him. Like Will goes back to the house, something comes to the house to get him, and they break down all of these scenes. Right, so the Demogorgon would break through walls or break through doors. But what comes after Will has telepathic capabilities, telekinesis, and unlocks the door with his mind. So like you see these things happen. Like the Demogorgon wouldn't do that. Wouldn't unlock the door.
I'm more upset that you didn't share this.
Sorry. So there's these aspects of the story, right? Where like Will is a much more important character potentially.
Yeah.
And it would seem as if maybe in the beginning we've been dealing with Vecna
With
all
Vecna
along.
the entire time.
Correct.
And I guess that was my gripe. I was like, and it could be me just not being, have been paying attention or not connecting the dots or just being a loser. But I feel like he kind of just came out of nowhere. Of course, he got flushed out in the end. But where are the previous connections? And they could have been there the entire time.
So, and there are some other like, if you like dive into it, there are other kind of little cookie crumbs or bread trails or whatever throughout the other seasons about kind of where we're at now in the series. So that's one piece of it, which I'm not going to go into because we're going to waste time. But
We can keep going.
As I understand it, the Duffer Brothers were the guys that write the show were required to kind of submit an overall like story arc to Netflix in the beginning of basically like how it starts and how it ends and how it all kind of ties together. And it was like a 25-page treatment or whatnot. So the idea that all of these things wouldn't intersect
right.
at some point is not too far off, right? Like I think it could very well happen.
It's not just that it's not creating as they go.
I don't think it's super.
We're
like,
not getting
I don't
the
think
Game
it's
of
meaningless.
Thrones. Yeah.
If that's if that's what we're trying to get at. Now they have also said like there's a big team of writers that work on the show and there's a lot of people that collaborate on it and they are writing and updating things all of the time even as they shoot. Steve Harrington was supposed to die in season 1. He was not supposed to live on. That was originally in the script. And as they were
Really?
filming, he was not supposed to live.
Okay.
He was supposed to die. And there's
People like
other
Steve,
there's other
yeah.
examples of that throughout the series. So it's not to say that like they're locked into whatever they decide they want to do. Like there's obviously like deviations, but yes. So they wound up loving his character so much, and he was like so good with everybody on the show that they wound up keeping him and letting him live. And then obviously
I definitely
he's
think he
carried through.
dies.
So
Moving at, like at the end.
we'll see. I don't know. There's a lot of
fucked up by those
characters.
birds.
There's a lot of characters that are kind of getting
Those upside down crows.
like sidelined a little bit, so you
Yeah.
can kind of maybe see them. Like Jonathan's one of them now.
Yeah.
I think he'll have his moment of redemption in season 4, but he has been a little downplayed. Obviously, Steve Harrington has had the focus so far, but we'll see. Anyway, Stranger Things,
Strange things.
season 4, not totally done.
Thumbs
yet,
up for me. I'm
but
enjoying it. That's my shit.
I've
I love
loved it. I thought it was. I think it's so well done. That moment where like they're communicating via the upside down,
Yo,
and,
that was dope as shit.
and then they're all biking at the same time, and the camera like inverts. Oh my gosh! So
They don't give Dustin enough credit, man. He's the anchor for like carrying everyone through. Like
Yeah.
he really he really correlates his world of science fiction to the real world and has these theories that no one else. I really love his character. He's like, if my theory is correct, and then like the shit just hangs. He's like, I thought so, and he's like, I'm right. But I also love the comedic irony of Steve and Eddie.
Yeah.
When they're like Dustin says something, and they're like, it's the tone, right? Like this kid is fucking. It's just it's done so well.
they've
so
all
well.
really found their like
Yeah.
pockets.
Yeah.
It all really fits really well together.
It's
great.
it's very warming. It's
Yes.
very warming.
It's a really fantastic show. I really hope that it ends on a super high note.
I think
That's
we're
my
gonna
goal.
fucking cry at the end.
All right, let's talk about the
IW.
IW, the new version, real quick. I would say that it is exceptionally different
Oh
Very
yeah,
different. Yep.
than the other
Very.
one.
very different. A little more bite, still smooth.
It's more bold.
Yeah, yeah.
According to the website, they say it begins with a subtle nose. IW Harper Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey leaves hints of caramel and vanilla, then melts into velvety bursts of wood and spice. The finish is sweet and pleasant with subtle fruit notes.
I want a marketer to describe my personality or my life just like that.
The
That'd be
same
great.
people who write this,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
write the descriptions for albums on Apple
Yeah.
Music.
Also, all whiskey and bourbon, it's all described the exact same.
Yeah,
It's all the same. There's so many flavors.
Yes.
There's so many things in here. Caramel, vanilla, wood,
Smoke.
spice, sweet, pleasant, fruit. That's everything.
that's everything that's ever made.
everything. Yeah, that's everything.
That's
so
the
it's all the
Popeyes
same.
chicken sandwich.
It's delicious, by the way.
I do enjoy this. I think it's pretty good. I'm not mad at it.
No, I think it's really good.
In comparison to the other, would you go one way or the other? Would you go
Personally, I'd probably go with this one.
okay?
Over-
That is a little. It's a little
Lighter,
it's a little
yeah.
lighter. This
And
is a
and
little heavier. for
Looking
sure.
at that bottle, it's also lighter in color.
Indeed.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
So,
fair skin.
Yeah. Literally and physically.
It's light skin.
All right. We'll move on. We'll roll through a couple of other things here.
I can't ever
We've-
help myself. I know.
We're rolling, so let's
Let's-
keep it going. Miss Marvel, right into that. How about that? We'll touch on that briefly. I'm only one episode in. When does that play? When does that air?
Wednesdays, same
Wednesday.
day as Kenobi.
Really?
My theory is that Disney wanted to
doing with
play to
these
two
Wednesdays?
audiences,
My God.
right?
All right. So Miss
Now-
Marvel. I've not seen the latest episode. I just saw the first one.
Okay, and I mean we can just kind of be generic.
Hot takes on it. Yes. No.
Yes,
Yes. Great.
it's cute.
Better than Moon Knight.
No, personal preference. No.
It's gotten a lot of shade for a variety of reasons.
It's gotten shade because of I won't say that word.
That's fine.
I
You
was
can
gonna say
that.
bigots and
Yeah,
like
that's fine.
whatever, and
You can say
racists.
that. That's
yeah,
okay.
but
Lean
that's the
into it.
shade it's getting.
Yeah.
The same shade that Kenobi was getting.
Yep.
But
Does he, not to cut you off.
No,
does
go
anyone
on.
find it weird that gets so much like press? Because I feel like
no, I don't find it weird at all. I expect it.
I think it seems strange to me that people make such a big deal about it. Like, obviously, there are always going to be those people that like hate on that type of stuff. Like, that doesn't seem surprising to me. But it feels like you would be like, okay, these are losers. Obviously, let's write about something else.
It's unfortunate, but those losers, yeah, those losers are the what's his name from who owns the comic shop in The Simpsons. Like, they're all him, and they are the ones who sit on their computers and create bots.
So there's a concern that like there's a meaningful audience, like demographic for the comic world or whatever
Yeah.
that feels that way. So maybe that's why it's more relevant in these cases.
As a person who is very much involved in the comic book community, the comic book community is filled with people who want the status quo.
Yeah.
And this may hurt some people's feelings, but the status quo is Superman. The status quo is Bruce Wayne. The status quo is Wonder Woman. When the status quo is Peter Parker. When the status quo changes, right, and gets experimental, and it changes what they don't look like or can identify with or understand, it turns into an uproar. Now, for someone who is not of that demographic, I have to look at it from a quality standpoint, right? Is the story good? Is the iteration good? Is the character good? And in some cases, no, it's shit. Did I like the Mighty Thor storyline with Jane Foster? No. Did I not like it because she was a woman? No. I just didn't like it because the story was bad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's just what comes with the territory. And, you know, it's unfortunate, man, but like, it's 2022, man. I don't get that shit no energy. Like,
All right.
fuck that shit.
It's just the news of this bigotry and whatnot is, I think, very appealing. Getting back to what you were saying, surprising that we're seeing so much of it. I think hate is a very strong thing to sway people's emotions. If I can write an article that centers on somebody else's hate, oh my God, I'm going to sell newspapers or, you know,
It's also
get clicks and I'm going to get, you know.
It's also funny because the hate is very, very much masked. Because these people won't come out. Like, they don't go to cons and voice their hate. They don't go to the comic book stores and voice their hate. They very much use the tool of the internet and mask themselves, which shows the cowardice. So like that's why I don't give it any energy. It was like you're fucking cowards. Like it is what it is. But back to Miss Marvel.
You've enjoyed it so far, or
I
you just
can't-
find it cute?
I think it's cute. I think it's funny. I think it's fun. I think it's very akin. If you've read the Miss Marvel comics, I think it's cool to see a hero who is a fan of the heroes. I think it's doing the book very much justice. I'm not a big fan of the book, but I know the book, so I love authenticity, and that's there. And I mean, it's very kiddish.
Sure.
It hasn't made the ties to the MCU that I'm waiting for, which is what I'm watching it for. I'm not. I don't.
Well, there are MCU ties in it. Yeah.
I'm waiting for the overarching ties. Like,
Got you.
where does the band come from?
Yeah.
Where are these powers derived from?
Yeah.
You know, like that's what I'm watching for. But I'm entertained. Like it's, you know, it's TV. Like it, you know, it is TV made for people who have read the comic books. And I'm cool with that.
I had more fun with it
It is fun. It's
than
very
I
fun.
did with like Moon Knight, for example.
Moon Knight isn't fun. Moon
No.
Knight is very traumatic.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if I even put it in that category.
There was abuse in it.
I felt, there is abuse. That's true.
It was abuse.
But it was Disney like abuse. It's not like he was.
Like the door shuts and you hear a slap. Like,
Yeah, that kind of stuff. I really enjoy all of like the tie-ins to the other characters, and I enjoy like there's aspects of that I feel like I'm back in the Marvel like universe.
You're back
you know what
in
I mean?
it.
I'm having
And
fun
Moon Knight,
again,
we didn't
and
feel
I'm
like we were in
enjoying
it.
that.
Yeah,
Moon
yeah.
Knight was like 4 episodes of what the hell is going on, and then
very
like,
true. Very true.
10 minutes of this is cool. All right, so
I will say I am enjoying it more than Moon Knight.
there we go. All right, so thumbs up on Miss Marvel. We're in so far.
Yeah, it's not bad. And like, it's one of the MCU properties I can watch with my kids.
Sure.
You know, like, and then they can be introduced to this.
Yeah.
And walk the lane into maybe enjoying the MCU and maybe like, oh, where does this come from? And getting into comic books. Like that's where it
Sure.
And I think that's the purpose of it.
I got you.
So yeah. Especially like the graphic effects, like how like there are things that happen.
That was all very cool.
Yeah, very.
And
that was
I
very
felt
dope.
like that was unique. Like that was a unique quality to the show that I really enjoyed. Like I found myself really liking that.
It's
a lot.
fun. It's refreshing.
In comparison to a Moon Knight that I felt like lacked a lot of those flourishes that I thought were creative.
I said it was very much
Creative
like
flourishes.
Boy Meets World and Everybody Hates Chris meets the MCU.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm cool with that. Like this is, you know,
It's a
whatever.
good time. We're here for some fun.
Yeah.
All right, Morbius 2. Hey, it's a
Please
maybe.
don't. It's Morbin Time.
I think it could be very interesting if they really leaned into the shittiness of it and almost made it a comedy, and then they just like turned the whole thing into a joke.
I'm starting to think maybe this entire thing is a joke.
Yeah, but the first one was not a joke. So I'm saying like the second one though, they
It could be
really,
Deadpool-esque. Like they kind of like,
I'm not even saying Deadpool-esque. They could just make a mockery of the whole thing. Like, what if it was just like slapstick stupid?
it just make it a just hardcore.
And Jared Leto is just like, guys, let's just lean into like
They could recover. First of all, Sony and Warner Brothers will do anything to make money.
Mm-hmm.
And
yes, so will I.
so
I'll try anything twice.
Yes, so will I.
I'll try anything once.
I'll try anything twice.
Well, I guess that's worse. As Josh winks at me, y'all can't see him. See winks at me when I say that. Yeah, it could become like a cult classic joke if they just kind of like, yeah, we fuck. What if they just redo the entire first movie?
But as a joke.
As a joke, like they just.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of possibilities.
Yeah.
I'm not shutting it down. I think it could happen. Jared Leto is obviously posting
I would
jokes. Did you
love-
watch the video that he posted?
Yeah.
Of the joke script or whatever? I thought that was good.
I would even mind them reshooting the first movies scene for scene
Shot for shot.
as a documentary,
Yes.
as a joke. Like,
There's a lot of opportunity
There's-
here. If
there's
Sony
mad
really
ways to
wanted
do
to
it.
get clever,
Yeah.
they could do some really interesting things. Speaking of which, let's talk real quick. We're going to just brush up against Amber Heard and Ezra Miller. Amber Heard is everywhere, and Ezra Miller can't be found.
Man, what the
Let's get into this just for a quick moment.
DC's really shitting the bed on this one.
God, what is happening up in those studios right now?
Yo!
Or in that studio, rather. There's got to be some real emergency meetings, some real code reds.
I don't think there's any meetings. I think all of those people took all their PTO and they're just like, I will deal with this
There is one team of people that is dedicated to trying to hide Amber Heard.
And they're hiding Ezra Miller too.
And there's another that's dedicated to trying to find Ezra Miller.
So the people who are trying to find Ezra Miller, they fucked up and they're like working with Amber Heard and
That's
shit.
law enforcement is desperately trying to find him. And then Warner Brothers is like, we got to scrub her from everything.
What is happening? You know the indie film that's gonna star Amber Heard and Ezra Miller is gonna fucking do numbers.
It's going to be on Kickstarter next
Oh
month.
my gosh. What if we do
A
like
romantic comedy with Amber Heard and Ezra Miller.
No, what if
who
we do-
both lost their jobs and shit?
it's got to be Dog the Bounty Hunter, but Amber Heard is trying to track Ezra Miller
Yes, yo.
in Hawaii.
Yo, give her a team and send her to Hawaii to find
Right, it's
Ezra
not
Miller.
a big place.
Hawaii.
I mean,
It's an island.
And they kind of know when you leave. Like, it's not like you can kind of just jump the border. Yeah, right.
It's just I don't. Sometimes
There's a lot of money to be made here. I would pay like many dollars
This
to
could
watch
redeem her.
Amber Heard try to track
serve Ezra
Ezra
Miller the
Miller.
papers, his
Yes.
court papers. Oh God! Amber Heard, the bounty hunter,
yes
finds Ezra Miller and brings him in.
Yeah.
This could redeem her.
How is Netflix not?
Amber Heard shit stalker.
How have they not gotten into this?
Shit stalker. What if?
It's stalker. Oh my gosh! And Netflix just had a falling out with Marvel, so DC they're primed. They're ready to go. Let's do this.
Oh, what if? What the plot?
Who at Netflix can make this happen?
The plot twist is Amber finds him and he starts grooming her.
That's oh my gosh, season 2.
Season 2. And they can't get out. They can't get. She starts defending him.
Oh my gosh! And then they
Yo.
battle each other.
Is it COVID? Which
Did-
is cult leader. Cult leader Ezra. It's a cult season 3. They get to end the season 2 to find out he's got a whole ton of people who have come down. Every cop that has been sent to serve him papers, he's created a small cult. Oh no. Yeah.
Yeah, that probably has
It's
to
fucking
happen.
terrible.
We got to figure that out.
Fucking
All right.
terrible.
On a serious note, yes, Ezra Miller is being sought for some very serious crimes, and that's unfortunate. All right,
It's
what's-
being proven more and more that Ezra Miller is a shithead.
yeah,
He put up an Instagram video today or yesterday
Stop
to
it,
kill
Josh.
KKK members. Did you see this?
No.
Yes.
No, why didn't you send this?
I don't. I'm sitting here. I'm reading this article. Stick with me. I'm reading this article about him disappearing, and in the top corner, they're playing Amber Heard video also, and then
Yeah,
it
of
goes
course.
to him on Instagram. Yeah, apparently he made a video threatening to kill a bunch of KKK members. Very odd.
they have a big
he's
presence in
real-life
Hawaii.
peacemaker.
Very weird.
What if
I feel like he's got to come back to the mainland to do.
you
some
know
work
what's
on
very odd? Every time you see Ezra Miller, he's clean shaven. He's too clean shaven for someone that's so erratic.
that. He's a strange man.
He's videotaping this video in the car. Like you can see trees
Yeah,
moving, and you
yeah.
can see and the it's like this. Oh, that's very weird.
Keep going.
Moving on. Sorry.
Almost as weird as the Joker sequel, the musical.
Yeah.
With Lady
Starring
Gaga?
Lady Gaga.
Hey, how do we feel about that?
I've never thought my childhood could turn into a joke. You know what I mean? Like, let's stop. Let's just stop. Stop. Everybody at HBO and Warner Brothers, just stop what you're doing and look at your emails, because
It's Todd Phillips. It's his fault.
all this shit is just a fucking snowball of horse shit. It's really what it is.
Yes.
The whole DC, like, I don't know, like, I feel like Kevin Feige is just like looking at his competition. Like,
There is none.
there's none. I can put out shit, and you guys will put out horse shit, and then it'll be fine.
It's a wild time.
Like,
All right,
there's
so it's a big no for the sequel.
a
as
musical.
Well, I think you're gonna
I wasn't on board. Well, I
Potentially.
won't say I wasn't on board
you're gonna
for
get it no matter what you want.
Joker.
so.
I'll say I gave it a chance. And now we're moving into, what's it called? Folie
Fully ado. Yeah.
Joker 2.
I don't dislike the name. I think the name is
The name
nice.
is dope.
But I didn't realize it was going to be a musical until later. They were like, oh, it's going to be a musical, and Lady Gaga's going to
Why?
be in it. No problem with Lady Gaga. She's fine. I think she's great. Put her in it. The musical piece could be interesting.
If you were smart, you would just make it a Broadway play.
Maybe.
If you were smart. I don't think anyone that works
It
with
could be,
any
but it
Warner
could
Brothers
be-
properties is smart.
It could be both. Why not? All right. Well, let's Jurassic World. Dive into that real quick.
Did you see it?
No, I did not. So
Hard no.
yeah, hard pass. There's a part of me that feels like I don't know. It's my duty to not see it. It's taking over the world. I wanted to go see Maverick, Top Gun.
You didn't?
Well,
I feel like you would have
let
texted me.
Stick with him.
Let me stick with me.
Stay with it.
I wanted to go see that, and then Jurassic
him.
World happened, and then basically every movie theater is just playing Jurassic World every day, all day long, and Maverick is like one time slot. It's like 2:15 in the afternoon. So now it's very
How
hard to
long
see
is Maverick?
Not super long. I think it's like 2 hours, 2:20, something like that. I could be wrong. I don't know, but
And how long is Jurassic World?
it doesn't matter.
Why
They're
would you
playing
play
it nonstop?
2 hours 26.
There we go.
So they're about the same time. So why the fuck wouldn't you just play one and then play the other?
Yeah.
First of all, I don't want to get into the whole thing about theaters again. I can't. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
no, we're not gonna
Yeah,
do
we
that.
were just talking about
I'm
this.
just saying, Jurassic World Dominion has like a 30% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's the worst reviewed Jurassic World film of all time.
But Top Gun's still in the 90s and they won't
Oh,
play
it's like
it.
97. Yeah. Well, it had its run. I mean, it did a really good job. I'm still probably going to try to go see it. I just
You could probably find
I
a good
have way
version.
fewer options. That's all.
A 1080p version on the dark web.
Maybe. I don't know.
Dark web.
It feels like something that would be fun to see in theaters, though. I'm not like anti-theater. Like, it'd be fun to go see. But I feel like the Jurassic World thing, I'm like, as a point of protest. I don't want to go see it. I don't want to give them my money. I would watch it at home, but I know that it's garbage. I know that it's so bad.
I don't think any.
It's so bad. And you know what the nail in the coffin was
Please,
for me?
please
Let me
tell
tell you
me,
what the nail in the
please,
coffin was.
please, please.
So the nail in the coffin was when they started running the ads where they claimed it was the end of the Jurassic Park era. Like it was the conclusion to
This
the
one?
Jurassic. Yes. That this film was the conclusion to what Jurassic Park had kicked off. Which is, in my opinion, like
a lie.
it's complete bullshit. You're extorting my childhood, and I don't agree with it. Jurassic Park is a masterpiece, and this is dog shit. You cannot say that this is the conclusion of that. Who signed off on that? Who signed off on that?
Chris
It's
Pratt.
what all the ads. I'll go to Rotten Tomatoes right
Chris
now.
Pratt did it.
Yeah, Parks and Recreation signed off.
Mario.
I'll go to Rotten Tomatoes right now, and the tagline will be there. I promise.
The end of an era.
It's like the
The subtitle.
conclusion of an era. It's absolute bullshit. It's not even.
Chris Pratt.
This summer, experience the epic conclusion to the Jurassic era as two generations unite for the first time.
There it is. The epic conclusion of the Jurassic era. That's what it says. That's their marketing material, and it has.
First of all, you can't-
30%.
It's one of those franchises
It's
that will live on, like Predator, Terminator, Aliens.
Jurassic Park Domination, a bold, timely, and breathtaking new adventure that spans the globe.
The globe.
It continues.
what a.
It's the end game of Jurassic Park.
All right, we're not going to end on a sad note because that's just embarrassing and humiliating. All right, I'm going to roll
didn't
through.
look at the
We're
watch
at like an
list.
hour 10, so we're running,
Really?
We're
I feel like I've been
running-
talking for like 3 fucking hours.
We're running low on.
That's
tape.
my COVID brain.
I'm going to run through my watch list
It's a
super
perpetual
fast.
excuse.
We've already discussed most of it. I'm going to just burn through the watch list. The Staircase, I finished that. It's very good. If you're into true crime stuff, it's on HBO. Give it a pass. It's excellent. Obi-Wan, we discussed that. I hate it. Ms. Marvel, pretty good. Chippendale, I watched that, by
Yes.
the way. I'm going to dedicate a few moments to that just because
Let's go. Let's talk about Chip 'n Dale.
Chip 'n Dale is an incredible film.
I fucking
told
you.
Disney
Yes, I
failed
fucking told you.
by not putting it in theaters. Marvelous movie. It definitely has a made for TV vibe, but it was so good. I would have seen it in theaters. They should do a sequel. I would go see that.
I would watch it as a show
High marks.
with him as 3D Dale.
Oh my gosh.
And 2D Chip. Yes, I would
So
watch
good.
that every. Yes, yo.
Chip 'n Dale
Yo.
really exceeded my expectations.
Good. I'm glad I could recommend it.
Pete Davidson presents The Best Friends. This is on Netflix. This is a stand-up special. I don't know if you like Pete
I
Davidson.
love stand-ups. So yeah.
So pretty
It was
good.
good.
It's not bad. Yep. It's he does like 10 minutes on the front end. He invites a bunch of his friends on. They're kind of
Who
like
are his
no name.
friends?
They're like no name comics for the most part. I think
A
he's
lot
trying to,
of
like,
comics are
bring 'em
doing
up.
that.
Netflix is doing a lot of this. They're giving bigger
Tiffany
comics
Haddish
that
had
platform.
one. Mike Epps. No, D-Ray. D-Ray had one. Chappelle had one that hasn't come out yet, though. That's the Hollywood Bowl or Netflix Bowl? Comedy Bowl?
So they're releasing a lot of
Netflix is a joke.
Yes. So this Pete
I was gonna get there,
Davidson
yeah.
is a part of the Netflix is a joke.
Netflix is a joke specials. are
Yeah.
out.
Yes.
There's one that's
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Give it a watch. Some of
I will. My wife and I, we
it's a
stand-up's our thing.
It's
We'll-
a 75-80%. I would give it.
But it's funny.
Some of the comics are like so. There's some great comics.
Did you get ripped in
And
watching?
there's
Or
some
you
that
just was
aren't
like-
excellent. No, I was incredibly sober.
And you still laughed?
Oh yeah, had a great time.
Okay.
South Park Streaming Wars. I watched that. You know how Paramount Plus is doing a couple of South Park like movies. They're like hour-long episodes.
I
More
saw
or less.
something else on-
It's fun. It's
yeah.
good. It's good. If you like South Park, you'll be into it. Your list. You had Stranger Things was finished. Obi-Wan, which we discussed. Hustle.
Okay, so Adam Sandler has been on a Netflix. I don't know if he's like signed a deal.
Oh yeah, he's with Netflix.
Yeah,
till
he's
he
with
dies,
Netflix.
basically.
And I don't know, did you watch Uncut Gems?
I did not.
Watch Uncut Gems and
I
then
know.
watch Hustle.
Yep.
Because Adam Sandler, first of all, I enjoy every Adam Sandler flick. Like they're funny, they're upbeat, they're on the pulse, they have their foot on like the immediate culture. But his Netflix stuff is very visceral and very emotionally emotionally invested. So if you didn't see Uncut Gems, Hustle and Uncut Gems are kind of the same in the context that it's a thrill ride. Like you are consistently moving, like there's no downtime to move away from the emotion of the last scene.
Yeah.
Like every scene ups the ante.
Yeah.
Right? And then it's Adam Sandler, man. He's just such a gem. Hustle is about him. And if you know Adam Sandler, he's a big basketball junkie. Mm-hmm. He's a basketball recruiter for the Philadelphia 76ers who lucks up and finds this kid overseas. And it's just about their journey together. It's about crossing cultural boundaries, learning, like what is acceptable over there and like what's acceptable over here. So it's extremely fun, but the anxiety-ridden, high-intensity film work that he's investing into these Netflix movies is just great, man. So watch Uncut Gems, watch Hustle. You'll see what I'm talking about, man. It's definitely a good watch.
I love that.
I don't know what else is on my
Check
watch
it out.
list.
You had Barry and the Boys.
Barry is much in the vein of that too, man. I've been talking about Barry much this season, and I'll just give a quick synopsis. Again, if you haven't been tuning in, he's a Marine vet. No, he's a something. He's Marine, Navy SEAL. I'm sorry if you watch
Marine.
the show. If you're in the service, and
Let 'em know.
I'm confusing them. And he gets out and doesn't have anything to do and turns into a hitman. And then on one of his hits, becomes an actor. And it's about him trying to juggle his life as a hitman and an actor. And it's great. It's Bill Hader. If you are familiar with Saturday Night Live, he's one of those. He's a vet from SNL, and it's great, man. Like it's just a thrill ride all the way through season 4 on HBO. So yeah, I love it.
All right. Well, I think that brings us
That's it.
to a close. This is a long episode. So
Yeah, I.W. Harper.
pretty good all around. These two, I enjoyed them. Very different.
Yeah, they're very different, but still good, which is weird to come from the same.
I think I prefer the first one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right. Love y'all.
Till next time.